7:01 p.m. Bristol Select Board meeting. Let's see. Review agenda for additional removal or adjustment of any items. And I think we have one, right, Val?
Correct. Actually, I don't see Joel on here. Are you sure he's on?
He's on. He's in the, there he is. If you look at the, look at the little strip above the L, he's there.
Oh, he's present. He's physically
That's
present.
right. He's there. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, never mind.
So you have one agenda item?
Yes, the fire department would like authorization to sell one of their retired pieces of equipment.
Okay.
$500.
I'm fine with putting that in other business. I don't think Brett's going to attend, right?
I believe not.
Okay. Michelle, Joel, are you okay putting that with other business? Oh, Darla's here too.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we'll put that as, where did that go? Somewhere. Other business 2, authorization to sell town of Bristol property. Okay. Overview of Zoom meeting operation, procedures, well, Zoom and in-person meeting, rules for participation, mute your microphones if you're on Zoom, and then be recognized by the chair to speak. And I'm the chair this evening. Public forum, 5 minutes to speak on an issue or item that isn't on tonight's agenda. Anyone in the virtual world or in the real world want to say anything? Guess not. Moving on. Department head roundtable. Updates from department heads. I heard Eric. I think you were there, correct, in person? Any updates? Any updates from you, Eric?
No, I'm good.
Eric, do you want to mention what you and I talked about earlier or last week about Lincoln using the turnaround on Lincoln Road for their buses?
You didn't want to have to come up here.
Exactly.
Come on, you can do it.
Okay. Yeah, Dave Cavaretto from Lincoln called me last week. And apparently they have a bus turnaround that is just up the road from where we turn around at Eagle Park. So he asked the select board if he could have them turn around down there. They said it was okay, as long as it was okay with us. And so I told him, yeah, I didn't think it would be a problem. And he said that he would put the signs up for the turnaround so we wouldn't have to. So it'll probably be spring when, or if he gets a break, maybe this week he might put them up, but it'll probably be spring. So we don't have to deal with the signs or anything. They're going to deal with it all.
So they're going to use the
Eagle Park
Park.
Yeah,
we keep that plowed out for us to turn around anyways. So it's a lot easier for the bus to turn around there as well.
Eric, will there be any conflict if there are visitors to Eagle Park parked there? Will it interfere with the bus turning around?
Depends on the time of day.
Yeah, I was going to say in the morning it shouldn't bother. It would be more of the afternoon, and that would be probably more towards warmer weather time. I don't think it's going to be that much of a conflict, but I can't say that it won't be at all.
Okay. We can just monitor it and see if things do arise.
Right. We'll just have to keep an eye on it and see how things go.
Okay.
And we could always put a sign up, bus turnaround from whatever time to whatever time.
Right.
So that way we could let people know.
Knowing that old bus stop. Oops, sorry.
Nope. Go, Joe.
It's probably just during the weekdays.
Yes. It would be just during school hours, during school time, whatever.
And knowing that turnaround, I used to turn around in the Lincoln one when I drove from Lincoln 40 odd years ago. That one in the wintertime is a tough one.
So this sounds like a better deal.
Yeah, down at Eagle Park, so much safer for the bus and everybody. And they could go back to that one at Lincoln in the summer months, May and September when the Eagle Park could be busy.
Yeah, that's an idea.
So.
If it becomes a problem, yeah, that's an idea.
Okay.
Other than that,
How'd the plowing go with the new guys that work out? Yeah,
it's coming.
Okay,
they're learning. They're getting it.
It's good that we're sort of easing into winter.
Yes, thank God.
I know you had an issue with somebody with a plow down because I
You had to bring it up, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Moving along.
Somebody complained.
Yes,
But
well,
you dealt with it. They said you dealt with it.
I did. And what happened was there was a misunderstanding. We use certain terminology at the shop, while most town garages use a certain terminology. And when I said what I did, he misinterpreted it as what he did instead of leaving it in the barn. So it's just a misunderstanding, which we got it corrected. And so moving forward, hopefully that won't happen again.
Just sharpening up the blades.
Yeah, we're just making them so they cut better.
Any issues with the gate on Mountain Terrace? I just happened to be walking down there yesterday, and I just remembered about that.
Yeah, there was at one point, and then we drove a pole in and zip tied it to the pole, so it won't close shut now. And but yeah, there was somebody that was closing it the first two times plowing it. We'd have to go up and open it. We'd do our plowing, and somebody would close it. But now they haven't. They've left it open. So
okay, good.
So I think we're good.
Okay. Any other questions for Eric?
What?
I said thank you for moving the picnic table.
Oh yeah. That's all done. The rock is all set for Peter Domenico too. We did that this morning.
Oh, great.
That's all set up in there, and they were happy with it, and they were chinking it in and stuff, and so that's all I got for today.
Excellent. Thanks, Eric.
Alrighty.
Meredith.
All right. So things that are happening at the rec department. This is a busy month for our events. Last Friday, we had the memory tree lighting, and it looks really very nice in the park. We had a nice little turnout. The video that we took, we posted on Facebook. If anybody would like to see it, that's where they can view it. This Friday, it's exciting. We have SD Ireland truck visiting us around 6 o'clock. We have Santa hosting a candy cane hunt at 6 o'clock as well at the town green. So that'll be fun. There'll be a prize for the person that finds the golden candy cane. And then we have trolley rides on Sunday. That is all booked up, so there's no more reservation slots for that. And then pretty much we're putting together a town report. I've sent Sharon some photos. And also the Holly Hall rentals are up, which is kind of nice. People are kind of just small gatherings happening at the hall. So other than that, everything's, very holiday.
Great. I had a question since I was over at the playground today. I know you were reaching out to someone regarding the wood. Did that ever? I know it's early to think about that now, but I don't know if you ever got a response from him regarding that.
No, so as I said before, I did send out an email to Bobby. I know that he had a family death, so
yeah.
My plan is to reach out to him before the end of this month and have us on his schedule for early spring. And along with that, I want to order some certified cedar for the playground itself. And then I think we really got to get down and rake out the AstroTurf or leaf blow it just to get a good start for the spring. So yeah, that is all on my table. Okay.
And I don't know if it's going to affect, since looking at, and what I'm talking about is the structure of the playground, mainly the ramp, the large posts, vertical posts, most of them are starting to rot. They had been sealed, but just over time, unfortunately, they're sort of rotting. They're going to all probably need to be replaced. And I don't know how that's going to affect your budget if you're planning. I mean, you're going to have Bobby come in and take a look and do it and give a quote, right?
Yes.
And so I don't know if are you planning to add that to your budget for after next July in terms of those repairs, or how do you want to handle that?
Yeah, so I was really hoping to find out before the end of this month how much it would be, so I could calculate that in. And we've even talked about, and I hate to do it, but intermingle pressure treated wood into that. So if I can hear back from Bobby sooner than later, then yeah, I would like to look at the budget and figure that out.
Or just add an estimated amount in to hopefully cover some of that. I know looking at it, because it's all made of live wood, using any kind of straight stuff like pressure treated, it's going to be hard to line up where it goes into the ground and then where it connects to the actual structure. So it's going to be some kind of budget to put that back how it should be.
Right. And then what's really affected is the tops. All the tops of that railing are disintegrating. So either, and we've tried to do some, I don't know what it is, some kind of chemical mixture that you pour into there. And that's not even pretty. So yeah, we'll figure something out.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Yeah. I was just there today, so I thought about that.
Yep.
Any questions for Meredith? Okay. Bruce from the police department. Thanks, Meredith.
So you may have noticed our new speed radar sign on West Street. I want to thank Eric and his crew for installing that for us, and Josh Turner for setting it up so it says "Welcome to Bristol" when it shows your speed.
That's great.
We're working on both of the speed signs on East Street and West Street to put our own kind of message on there and change the coloring on some of the speed displays to get people's attention. But those seem to be working on slowing people down.
Right.
Also, like to acknowledge and thank our law enforcement partners, the Vermont State Police and Virgins Police Department, for their assistance last week at the school, and the great working relationship we have at the school during the events that were occurring, and for the continued follow-up that we're doing with those events.
Right.
That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you, Bruce. Any questions for Bruce?
No, but thank you, Bruce, for being there.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think, just obviously we don't want that to happen, but to have our own police department here in the town, I think it's a tremendous asset. Okay. Brett's not here. Anybody else? Let me look at my list here. No,
Sharon, we haven't heard from Sharon.
Oh, that's true. Sharon, are you there?
I am here.
She's in the dark. Oh, there she is.
I'm in the dark. Yeah. As Meredith said, town report is coming up. There could be a lot of changes for elections this year. We're still waiting to hear whether or not the redistricting is going to happen. If it is, there's going to be additional stuff that we're going to have to do. My land records are still behind, but Nicole is learning that. So hopefully we can start moving that along a little faster. We're doing a water read this week. So we'll probably send out those bills next week. And there's just a lot of little things that are coming up. Let's see, we got a sewer read that we did, so I've got to do those reports. There's just a lot of little things coming up, and just a lot of different things that are coming up. Oh yeah, and I'm helping Anthony with the audit for things that he's not sure what they are, so we're looking for them, and so there's just a lot of different things that are going on. So
you're keeping busy. That's good.
Oh yes, I definitely am not short on work. That's for sure.
Are you okay with me helping with the town report again? Is that all right? I don't want to make it more complicated, but I'm obviously willing to help again and do formatting and things like that as we did last year.
We can, as long as I have an opportunity to look at it before it goes to the printer, and we're going to we'll have to be done by the end of January. So.
Remember, Sharon Banyan said she was happy to read through it as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Catch a few things. Okay. Yeah, I sent you an email today just about trying to get the files and sharing. We'll figure that out, and then we can go from there. But I'm happy to work on it again and put it all together.
Okay.
Super. Any questions for Sharon?
Speaking of Anthony, I talked with him today, and he's planning to join us next Monday for the roundtable. But I give him a little bit of time to get situated.
Next Monday?
Yes, the 20th.
So we have a meeting next Monday?
Yes.
Correct. That was changed the last meeting, just in terms of allowing people accommodation for travel and things like that during the holiday. So we bumped it up to next Monday.
It's actually been on the calendar all year, but folks.
Yeah, probably has, but it wasn't focused on me.
I know. I know.
So there's no meeting on the 27th.
Right. Correct. And the reason for that is because a lot of people might be traveling between the holidays to be with family or otherwise occupied.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you, everyone. Moving on, regular business. Item 1 is Conservation Commission candidate interview and possible appointment. Nancy Morrison. I think, is Nancy there in person?
No.
Fantastic. Hi, Nancy. Okay. Hopefully, it'll start to turn around. The owl will spy you. There you are. Fantastic.
See, now look what it did.
Well, as long as you can hear me.
Yeah, it'll adjust to you. Thank you for volunteering to serve. I guess we'll start off by just saying, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So we just moved here, my family, in October to Bristol from Texas. My husband got a job at Collins Aerospace in Virginia. So we moved up here. I have a little 2-year-old boy. And so that's kind of that. We really like to do lots of outdoor stuff, hiking, camping, mountain biking. I'm excited to ski again. Texas didn't really have very much skiing.
I can imagine.
So we're really excited to be here in Vermont. And then a little more about me. I have a bachelor's degree in recreation management. So that's kind of what led me to the conservation, because I like parks and the outdoors, and I think that is a very vital part of the community. And then in our last town, I was actually on the library board, so I have a little bit of experience in that.
Terrific. That sounds great. Have you looked at any of the minutes or looked at any of the meetings from past Conservation Commission?
I've been to the past 2 meetings I've attended.
Oh, okay. Terrific. Good. You're well versed.
How many years were you on the library board?
2000, beginning of 2019 until August of 2021.
And then what do you think you could bring to the conservation board?
Oh, that's a tough question.
Just so folks know, we couldn't hear Joel's question.
But he said,
Zoomers
what can
couldn't
you
hear.
conservation board?
What does she think she could bring to the conservation commission?
Well, hopefully, being new, maybe kind of fresh eyes and adding to what's already been done and seeing what's new.
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
Any other questions from the board?
Just one general is, we did advertise this, right? Put it out on Front Porch Forum.
It's been a while.
Not recent. Yeah, it's been a while.
I was invited.
Okay.
That's terrific.
Right,
Any further questions?
Yeah.
Commission member, okay.
So we can decide in executive session. I don't think that's necessary if the other board members are okay with that.
No, I'm fine.
Okay, someone wants to make a motion.
I make a motion that we appoint Nancy Morrison to the Conservation Commission for the vacant seat that runs through the term of March of 2025.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Raise your hand.
Aye.
All those against, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you very much for volunteering to be on the commission.
Thank
You guys, I'm excited to work with you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciated. Okay. Moving on. We have item 2 is an energy committee candidate. Getting all these volunteers. This is fantastic.
More to come.
And more to come, I know. Benjamin Scalosdra.
Wow, you nailed it perfectly.
Really?
Yes.
All right.
I don't get that very often, so thank you.
Right cables.
That was a lucky guess. Thank goodness. Okay.
Very good job.
So this is for an energy committee position. Again, same sort of question, a little bit of background of yourself.
Yeah, so I'm also relatively new to Bristol. My fiance and I moved here in March of 2021. We moved from Burlington. And my kind of background, I'm an electrical engineer. That's my degree in electrical engineering. I've worked in the past on power plants, design and construction, some solar. I've had some solar background, hydroelectric as well in my technical kind of professional background. But mostly now I do water and wastewater work. But so kind of public infrastructure is very important to me professionally. So that's kind of the technical side. I really believe in public service a lot. This would be my first kind of volunteer committee type of position. But I think, generally speaking, I think there could be a little more. Sometimes I think engineers can provide a different perspective on things that kind of from a technical background perspective, or from like a more analytical perspective, maybe. And so I think that could be really beneficial to the town. So I guess I kind of answered more than one question in that answer.
Absolutely fine. Any other questions from the board?
He answered whatever questions Jolie would have answered.
Said it all in one sentence.
I know.
What's your preference, solar or wind?
I mean, I would say it depends on the application. It would depend on the needs. It would depend on the location. I mean, I think the Bristol Community Solar Project is really cool. That was actually what really got me kind of tuned into the existence of the Energy Committee, was knowing about that project. And so that kind of, I really like solar. I've never actually done any wind in my professional career, so that would be a new avenue for me. But I think it just depends on the application. So I will say it depends. Not really a great answer, but
well, not a tremendous amount of wind availability or opportunity in Bristol. The
last couple of days it's been pretty windy, but yeah, I think generally speaking, you're right.
We don't have a lot of wind.
Right.
Right.
Well,
I would
terrific.
say that was a good answer, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Any further questions for Ben? Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Ben to the Energy Committee for one of the vacant seats through March of 2024.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion second. Any further questions for Ben? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Raise your hand.
Aye.
But we might key for our sewer, water and sewer.
Do a lot of water and sewer too.
all those against say nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Welcome, Ben. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome to both of you.
Did Joel second that?
He did.
Yes, he did.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Terrific. All right. And then Chair Sally is on. Sally, when's your next meeting? That's going to be in January, correct?
Yeah, the next meeting will be in January. So we won't get to meet you in a group setting, but definitely looking forward to it. I'm excited to have a new person on. Yeah,
thanks.
More
Yeah,
eyes. Yeah, be great.
Great.
Thanks so much.
January 19th, I think. Terrific. And we'll post. You'll Sally can connect in terms of contact information, and then we'll send you the agenda. It also gets posted on the town website and Front Porch Forum, places like that. So a few reminders. But thank you very much for volunteering. I appreciate it.
And Nancy will Kristen contact Nancy. Somebody will get in touch with Nancy.
Yeah, we can pass the information on to Carolyn.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Carolyn's been aware.
Okay, terrific. All right, thanks, Ben. Appreciate it. All right, moving on. Let's see here. What are we up to next here? Item 3, Hub Teen Center Program Assistant Candidate Interview and Appointment. Jacqueline Lay Stepanidis. Okay. Oh, there's Jacqueline. There she is.
Hello,
And
thank you for
there.
having me.
Sure.
Taylor is also tuned in to lay some groundwork about this new position.
Okay.
And introduce Jackie.
Take it away, Taylor.
Yeah, so the position is coming forth for a couple of reasons. One, my maternity leave is getting ever closer. And it having just Alex there, Alex is amazing, but we need more than one person at the hub for 12 weeks. So that, and then in addition to that, we, as everyone knows, we lost Taylor Goodwin because she moved back down to North Carolina, and we had come to rely on her fairly heavily, even just for the flexibility of having a couple of days where, because for the past year, she was only there for a couple of days, but that provided us a little bit of flexibility in Alex and my schedule. And the additional support was really great for the teens to have a third person, because especially in the recent 6 months, we've had record-breaking numbers pretty much every month, meaning we went from an average of 12 kids a day to an average of 20, which is a lot more kids, and having more staff available just to provide support and help someone set up the video games as we cook snack, and help someone with finding some kind of art supply. It just helps with more people. So we put the job out. We advertised through Craigslist, Front Porch Forum, Indeed, Handshake. And we got a handful of applications and interviewed a handful of people. And we unequivocally landed on Jackie because we were incredibly impressed by her knowledge of a fairly niche field. As you can, I don't know if you guys have her resume in front of you, but you'll see she's fairly experienced, as well as her demeanor and her friendliness, and just how impressed we were and how obvious we felt it was that she would fit into not only the staff, but also like become how easy it was going to be to introduce her to the teens and how well she would get along with them. And also the number of glowing reviews we got as soon as we checked her references. Literally not one bad word ever. So it was really an easy decision, which is cool. So
fantastic.
Jackie.
Okay, Jackie. All right.
I do want to let people know that I did share Jackie's background, her letter, and her resume with the select board members, but because it's personal stuff, it's not publicly available.
Okay. Well, hello, Jackie.
Hello, thank you very much for having me here tonight.
So tell us about your interest in this position.
I have worked with teenagers pretty much my entire adult life. I was a mentor for at-risk youth at the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Virgins. I was a program assistant there twice on a part-time basis. My full-time job in the morning is I'm an English as a second language teacher to kids over in Asia. I have a bachelor's degree in communications, a 120-hour TEFL certificate, as well as a recently acquired 120-hour CELTA Cambridge certificate. I have spent time abroad living in Japan and teaching Chinese kids online. A lot of the kids at Bristol and Mount Abe have an appreciation of the Japanese culture through anime, food, and I would just say the Japanese culture in general. They're so intrigued by it. So I'm more than ready and willing to share my experiences and my love of the Japanese food.
I'm sure they're going to be, maybe I'll stop by too, actually.
Yes, please. Anybody is welcome to come.
Okay. I thought the same thing.
Questions from the board?
What's the plan for hours at this point, Taylor?
So it'll be 20 hours a week. So that's since we have drop-in hours 3 to 6, Jackie will come in at 2. The position is initially a temporary position with our hopes of extending it if Jackie is able to, and funding pending.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's worth noting that you mentioned that the compensation will come from a UWAC grant,
Yep.
which is meant to be used for labor and for and a grant called Honeypot, which is to support drop-in hours at the hub.
Yeah, the United Way of Aston County grant is one we receive every year. We have for many years. It is one that we currently have a fair amount in the budget of, enough to support Jackie. We'll also get another disbursement of it in a few months. And Honeypot is one we actually a grant we didn't apply for, and someone gave us really generously to support drop-in hours. And there's also a third grant that I think it's on the docket for you folks to approve, that I'm going to be applying for as well, just for additional cushion.
Okay. Any other questions for Jackie, Darla, Joel?
Yeah, I do have a question, Jackie. Looking at your resume, hearing about your experience, how has someone not scooped you up for a full-time position somewhere? Is part-time what you're looking for? And how long will you promise to stay with us if we offer that to
you? The goal originally when I came back from Italy in September was to try and find a job over in Europe, but because of Omicron and the COVID variants that keep popping up, the European Union countries pretty much shut down their borders every single time. And it's already a challenge enough to get a work visa when you're not a member of an EU country. So as of right now, I am back in Vermont, born and raised here. I've grown up going to Bristol, Snap's restaurant, best eggs Benedict ever. And, so as far as I'm aware, my goal is to stay here until the end of the temporary position. We will see what the border situation is at that point in time. And I will certainly keep Taylor and Alex updated on the situation. I'm so looking forward to working with the teens of Bristol, and I'm really looking forward to providing them with a safe, fun, and educational space to come to after school.
Well, it sounds like you'll be a great fit there. So thanks.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Do I have a motion if there are no other questions?
I make a motion we accept, offer Jackie the position as appointed to.
Thank you. Second, anyone?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Motion and a second. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
All those against say nay. The ayes have it. Welcome aboard, Jackie. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck, Taylor.
Okay. Moving on. Let's see. Consider town green park use application for Lumen. I think Kate, you're here, right? She's the executive director of Bristol Core.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Great. This is just our permit. We are bringing back Lumen this year. That's our hope. The plan is to host Lumen this Saturday, the 18th. The format stays very similar to how it has in the past. We have Cirque du Fuego as fire performers lined up. The hope is that we can use the town green for that. And then we will have our lantern walk through town and food and s'mores by the fire pit at the end of the evening. So that's it in a nutshell. And this permit is hopes that we can use the green for the afternoon.
Okay. Questions for Kate?
Ian, do you want to mention your coordination with the fire department?
I've coordinated with the fire department. since I'm still a board member for Bristol Core. Yeah, we have support from the fire department. Two firefighters will be on duty for the evening, and usually it's less about the fire on the green, more about the fire down in the alleyways. So we've done that. We have police department sign off, I believe, from Bruce, and we've informed everyone we need to. We've gotten permission to use the 2 alleyway spaces. The insurance is all set up. So it's very similar to what it was 2 years ago when we did it. No major changes. One addition that we were thinking about was to add a larger circle kind of perimeter using some stanchions just to sort of hopefully accommodate more people at safer distances for this year. Usually the fire performers create their own circle. We were thinking about doing a little bit bigger, creating our own, just to be able to have a safer performance and safer evening for people.
Guys, I mean, I know we have talked about this in the past that you, at one point you wanted to bring lighted candles, and we changed that and said you couldn't have actual flames walking down the road. Is that right?
Correct. It was the original. Yeah, the original one was that when we did the lantern making, it was going to be having little candles inside, and we actually, because of that, we just switched it to little battery operated ones. And I don't know, Kate, what's the update on the lantern making? Is that happening, or is it just the fire performance this year?
We are doing take-home kits
okay.
Instead of an in-person workshop. We are still doing lantern making, and kids can pick up kits at the Bristol Library, and they are with little LED lights.
Great, fantastic. Any other questions from the board?
I just had one question. Kate, when you were describing the event, you said you hope to bring it back. Is there a barrier that you're anticipating, or is it wet? I mean, am I thinking weather? Just looking for clarification.
It is pending your approval of the permit.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, Joel?
Just so there's no lighted candles from there's going to be actual fire on the park and actual fire down the alleys, but in between there's not going to be.
Correct.
I make a motion to approve this.
A second.
Great. We have a motion second. Further discussion? All those in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
All those against, nay? The ayes have it. Terrific.
Great.
Thanks,
everybody.
Thank you.
Hopefully folks can come out on Saturday night and see that. Okay, moving on. American Rescue Plan Act funding update. Val?
As I mentioned in my notes, there's really no new information to provide tonight. We still are recruiting for members for the ARPA committee, which will be on next Monday's agenda for appointment. I think some representatives from actually, Ian, you can probably give more of an update on who's responded to you from the Conservation Commission, Energy Committee, and Planning Commission.
Yep, we have 2 confirmed, for one from Conservation, one from Energy. And we have 2 interested from the Planning Commission. They had their meeting last week. We have 2 interested candidates, and I'm waiting to hear back how they're going to fight it out amongst themselves to be able to be on the committee. So yeah, it looks like we've got representation from those 3 main committees from the town. I don't know, how's the application been? Have you received applications?
Let me do a quick check here.
Hopefully.
I've received more interest in the Bike Ped Advisory Committee.
Darn, we should have pushed that later on.
It would be worthwhile to put some more notices in from Porch Forum.
Okay.
I'm scrolling through my my directory here.
I hope it's more than one, though.
We have 1. Yeah.
Okay.
So far.
We'll put that out again.
Yes.
Darn. Okay.
Amazing. I find that amazing.
Committee of 1.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a committee of 4. Yeah.
I'm surprised that we don't have more.
Yeah,
I'm surprised too. I was thinking that when we first talked about this, there was sort of a recommendation from people at that particular meeting that we should get more input. I expected more people to jump on board.
Interesting.
They want to hear their voice, but they don't want to get involved. I don't know.
That's tough. Huh.
I wonder if the people who are thinking and sitting back and waiting, are they waiting for the board to kind of come up with some parameters?
I think
It's
The
just
parameters
throwing
are
that
set
out.
by the grant.
for the committee, I would think.
Are they really first? Let me just, are the parameters, has the board made some parameters on what we're looking for from the members to accomplish? Like, is there going to be a conflict? I can't serve, or, you know, we haven't talked about that, or should we? Not this.
No, it was very open in terms of the letter, but it was mainly because it was just the creation of the committee, and then the committee would look at the applications that had come through and ideas that had come through. But we tried to be as broad as possible. The main thing that we said in the ask was that looking for community residents of Bristol, both living in the village area, and outside, you know, and we'd done similar wording for other committees that we'd asked for. So we were just trying to get as broad representation as possible. But that's the only thing we've sort of said in the correspondence that's gone out. Sally, do you have a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering if in your reach out, you mentioned how much time it might be for people. People might be concerned about what are they signing up for time-wise, that kind of thing. And what are they expected to do in order to prepare? Or I don't really know, but it might not be detailed enough for them to make a decision. Okay.
Yeah, we try to be broad, but then obviously maybe a little bit more structure. And I've thinking about it, another person has asked that question of me as well in terms of what the involvement is. And I was thinking similar to our other committees and the select board, it would probably be a monthly meeting in the evening, possibly 2 a month, depending on the scope of it. I don't know, Val, if you have any thoughts on how it might be structured. I was trying to keep some structure where it was sort of similar to other committee meetings that already go on for the town. But I don't know if you've thought anything about that, Val.
I have not.
Okay.
Not lately.
Yes.
And one more addition that I was thinking of is, is it really clear that they don't have to come up with proposals? They're simply reviewing other people's proposals.
Well, they can do both.
Okay.
You can be a committee member and bring proposals to the table, and that's why we have the committee to sort of vet those and look through. But it's also to ask the rest of the community input, and we've received a lot of input so far. It's one of the reasons why I sort of suggested this direction. Other towns had been doing similar things, and because we'd had a lot of input and requests for the money and ideas, we thought this would be a good way to sort of look at this wide range and be able to narrow down what would be most suitable for the committee and what would affect the most people. But you're right. Maybe to be clear about that, maybe people feel they don't want to be on the committee because they have ideas or they put ideas forward already, perhaps.
Or the opposite, because I think I heard from someone who thought they had an idea they'd like to put out, and I told them that this isn't about just bringing in an idea. It's about reviewing people's ideas and making a choice and weighing them and all that. So making sure that's clear, I think, would be helpful. Okay.
Joel, you had a question?
Yeah. So is the committee going to be a 2-year or 1 year? Because we're getting this, or if we've already gotten some money, then we're going to get some in middle of 2022. Is that a second round, so to speak, or what is it, first of all? And if the board has some stuff that they'd like to see, does the board have to submit it to the committee? Projects or this or that. Does the board have to submit it to the committee? Where does that stand?
I do expect that the select board would submit an outline of some of the priorities that we've discussed, such as wastewater improvements, sidewalks, water lines, and some of the capital things, and maybe some other things that the select board has been thinking about. But yeah, we should add those to the mix.
Okay.
And I began to do that in earlier town admin reports. In the reports, just list some of the things with some ballpark cost estimates.
Okay. So do you want me to, so in terms of, since we've received so little interest, unfortunately. Should I just maybe get some specifics in there in terms of the next posting? I can work on that post tomorrow to maybe add a little more. I mean, it wasn't very detailed because we didn't really know. It was sort of going to be up to the committee, but I guess there needs a little bit more structure. Maybe that's why we haven't received the interest, because it's so broad an ask. Like Joel said, we don't even have like a timeline. Would it be for 2 years? Would it be for 3 years? You know, we have to have the money spent by a certain time period. So is that 3 years, Val?
2026, I think, it needs to be spent. It needs to be committed by 2024, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know that the committee would be that long, because they really just need to evaluate, and then we need to evaluate the project. And then once those are evaluated, then it's up to select board or town or whatever to decide. So then to me, their job is done.
Right. That's what I was thinking as well. Once things are identified, does the board need to continue to meet?
I would not think so. Their job will be done.
So let's I guess we could say it's a year-long position. Right. I mean, let's say we form the board by town meeting day, if we're lucky. And so it'd be a year.
Well, if we have enough candidates, we can, I mean, in theory, they could be appointed next Monday, and it's up to them to decide how to organize themselves and when to meet and that kind of thing. Right. Well, that's the thing. If we have enough candidates, we only have 4 people so far, and 3 of those are ones that we've asked to be on the committee. Right. Right. Might want to start the ad with a question, just an open-ended question. Do you want to be involved in shaping how this limited money will be spent in Bristol?
Here's your chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll throw in some Bristol bucks. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's a good, the question. Okay. So question, and then year appointment. And then the specifics in terms of, okay. I'll have to think about that. Joel, do you want to see more? What are you thinking in terms of, you've had sort of the most questions about this. And I think I sort of want your insight to think, like, how do we get people interested in this? Because it doesn't seem like my ask hasn't, unfortunately.
I think we need to have a discussion between the 6 of us on the shape of what we want this committee, the goals, the end goals of this committee. When we were asking people, maybe that's why we're not getting very many, because they don't know the end goal. What we're going to, I don't know if we've had a real good, long conversation about what we want this ARP money and the goals of the committee and how it's going to be shaped. On, like, one of the questions I've had for long is, I read it in the Rutland Herald again Friday, was about what it can be used for, the money for. And if we go and the committee, we take the committee's recommendation, I guess it's supposed to be at the very end, the board's going to pick what the committee has drafted. And let's say the committee comes up with 20 projects that it comes right to the long dollar. And the board said, well, we'd like 10 of them and something else. First of all, that's a question. And what if it's not, if end of an audit, it's not being paid, it won't be paid for. How do we rectify that? If it was a town project, it would either going to be paid for by taxpayers, but if it was I won't say an outside organization project that we think is a good project, and then the feds come back after 2026 and say, no, that wasn't ARPA related funding, so it's got to be paid back. And then you've got to ask the voters for that money back.
Joel, I don't think we'll have to worry about that. The select board will have the final decision to make, and we'll have a pretty clear handle on those boundaries by then.
I thought we had that discussion, really, that the committee was going to be the source to take the suggestions and thoughts that the select board gave and people that are sending an eval, and that they were going to evaluate all those to determine if they met the criteria. Right. And then, because they're going to have to look at that rubric to decide what qualifies and what doesn't, and then give us a list of what their recommendations were. And then it's up to the select board to go through that recommendation.
And I would assume there'd be a way for us to have communication if there was question if a project fit or not. And in my experience, when there's a grant, there's always someone that you can ask that question.
Right.
Does
Yeah,
this
we'll
project
get plenty of
fit
guidance.
this? Yeah.
Yes.
I guess my last question would be, how do we handle a conflict of interest thing if someone's on this selection committee to thing and then they are also on a Addison County something?
Well, I think they would have to recuse themselves from a discussion about that as a board member, the same way we do here.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them would vote on it, whether it qualifies or not.
Should that be in our paperwork or something?
Well, we have a conflict of interest policy of the town, so it would affect all the committee members.
So it would be, our conflict of interest policy would adhere to this committee.
They would be
it's a universal conflict of interest policy.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah, and I was, we were trying to be as be broad, like Val's put it up on the screen here in terms of like, if you have special considerations given to applicants with experience or knowledge in public health, economic development, education, and housing and community development, trying to cover those 4 very broad areas that this money can be used for. And it was also suggestions when previous residents of previous meetings had spoken to us. That was some of the suggestions they had. Well, you have a health professional who might be interested and want to be on the committee, to be able to vet these things. And the idea was, the committee was trying to not take it away from the select board, but just making it broader where they could go through and we could have a much bigger picture, because there's a lot of things that we would like to focus on. And I don't want it'd be nice not to see it skew towards certain things that we want. As the town, because there's obviously certain areas that we focus on more than others, and because this money can be used in a broader way, we're trying to get as much input as possible. But yeah, okay. Well, I'll put it out again, and maybe we need to extend the deadline. We could do an interview next week. But is that so, Val? For that person, is it the person that had previously contacted that you and I know about, or is it someone new?
Well, I suppose I can tell you. Elizabeth
you tell
Blair.
me. Oh, okay. So we have 2 people then, because we have someone else who is interested.
Okay.
All right. So that's 2, but that's great. Okay. Well, we'll keep on with that. And so we've had a lot of interest in the bike committee. So that's positive. There are positives and negatives to this. So that's good. All right. Well, I'll do a little bit of rewording. I can send along to all board members to take a look at and post it on Front Porch Forum again. And maybe just extend the deadline, and we can push that into January, and maybe that'll be easier. We can interview a few people at a time and then work through that. Okay. Any other updates to that, Val?
No.
Okay. Moving on, if everyone's okay with that. Winter maintenance plan review.
Yeah, as I mentioned in my notes, the purpose for this being on the agenda is just to either remind people that it exists, or for those that don't know it exists, to let them know that it exists and what's in it, basically. This is something that the select board adopted last year, so it's a new document to articulate the town's priorities when it comes to winter snow and ice events and clearing of snow, and it lays out priorities for which roads are going to be cleared first, which basically aligns with the major travel routes and bus routes. And it lays out the parameters for when the sidewalks will be plowed and how long that takes, and just trying to calibrate people's expectations about when things might happen, and if things don't happen, there's some understanding why they perhaps didn't happen as hoped. It also lays out the parameters for use of salt and sand, both I think on the roads, but certainly on the sidewalks. And it lays out some of the expectations for snow removal, after on Main Street and in other areas of the town. It lays out if and when the town would be responsible for private property damage. In most cases, damage to mailboxes and windshields. Damage to mailboxes would not be accepted by the town, because it happens unless it's by the really clear negligence of the plow operator, which is extremely rare. Sometimes just the pressure of snow being blown off the roadway might knock a box over, and the town wouldn't be responsible for that. Also, dings on people's windshields or other things just from stones being kicked up, the town can't take responsibility for that. Also, potholes. We've been advised time and time again that potholes have been deemed to be an act of nature. Even though, for example, the town could fill a pothole at 3 in the afternoon and a good rain will pop it right back out by 6 the next morning. And the town can't keep on top of every pothole every day. So there might be instances, if there is clear negligence, then the town would accept responsibility, but it needs to be very clear. And that the policy also identifies where there are agreements for private property arrangements for either plowing or depositing snow. And it also includes other general provisions. So I just wanted to bring that to board members and the community's attention. And a copy is available on the website somewhere, and we'll make sure it's very clearly located on the front page, and I intend to post information about it on social media. Haven't done it yet though.
Well, the only sum I thought was the first bullet. I liked most of it. I was going to get Eric's opinion on it. I'll read it. It identifies priorities for plowing roads aligned with major traffic and school bus routes, and which truck is assigned. And which truck is assigned, I think, shouldn't be in there, because you could have a truck break down.
Well, that's just it. That's one of the reasons why it's in, because if a truck breaks down, then that helps recalibrate people's expectations, like, oh geez, that route might get delayed.
Okay. I mean, I know right now that they all have their own route with their truck, but something happens and that thing ends up in the shop. There's another truck or even the grader out scraping ice and, on a road. So I was just thought it would say in equipment assigned to them. I don't know, Eric, what do you think?
Maybe we can plan on adding a statement in that section that in the event of equipment failure, which does happen from time to time, that's
way covered.
Priorities. Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't think of that already.
Like Valerie said, it just identifies the truck that usually normally does that route. If it breaks down, then it's going to give the expectation that route's going to get done at a longer time or whatever. But either way, it's fine. It doesn't matter.
Okay. That's the only thing that caught my eye. That's all.
Okay. Darla, Michelle, any questions, suggestions?
No, we've already read it and approved it. And the only question I had was, we had talked about sand on the sidewalks, and aren't we now putting salt? We're just putting sand. We don't put any salt.
No, right now we're doing a 50-50 blend.
Yeah.
Right now on the sidewalks.
Okay, because right now I think it only talks about sand, and that was my only one question, because I thought we had changed it to salt and sand.
Barrel's got on Main Street, I've got approximately a 3/4 salt to sand ratio, and the sidewalk sander uses a 50-50.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, my only suggestion was going to be to make sure we put it out on social media, and it looks like you've already got that covered. So Instagram, Facebook, Front Porch Forum, so that people can have access to to it. So sounds great.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, and we worked through this a number of meetings last year and got as much input as we could and suggestions. So it's been hammered out. I think on page 3, use of salt and sand, we can probably change number 4. The town will coordinate with Bristol Core in terms of the barrels. So I made the barrels, and Eric kindly stored them over the winter time and then was able to put them out and put that in. So I think if that's okay with him, we could remove that, and it would just be the town would put those out, if that's all right with folks.
Well, since this is not a warned agenda item for updates.
Oh,
and that
okay.
kind of thing, yeah, that's a suggestion for a future.
Okay.
Because then we have to go through the whole adoption and signature.
Yeah. No, totally fine.
And this is just a policy. It's not an ordinance that requires the more full procedure, but still, it should be in a warned agenda item.
Okay. All right, not a problem. All right, any other questions regarding that? Seeing none, moving on. Budget workshop, is that happening? There was a potential that it wasn't going to happen.
Right, yeah. The rec department needs a little bit more time
Sure.
to get some more information. But at least this is an opportunity to at least review the projected schedule. We do anticipate the rec department being available for the next meeting. And I'm pretty sure the agenda is not going to be super heavy, so we'll be able to focus on some of these things. I believe the fire department is also expecting to be able to be ready by then. Listers will be ready by then. Planning and zoning probably will be ready by then. One of the things that we need to have on the agenda for sure for next Monday is health insurance. There needs to be a decision about the current plan, if there's going to be any changes, if there are going to be any other changes to the proportions. And I realize it's a little bit jumping the gun because the select board hasn't had a chance to see the fuller budget and how that fits into the bigger picture. At the moment, this will be an agenda item, but I can just a heads up. Right now, we're kind of on a path for status quo. So we'll talk more about that at the next meeting. And then in January, we can plan on meeting every Monday night, starting with January 3rd. The select board had expressed previously that on those off nights, those special meeting nights, that those be focused on budget and not have too many other tangent agenda items slide in. And so those items would be slotted for the regular select board meetings, which would be January 10th and January 24th. So the 3rd and the 17th would be special meetings to focus on budget. At least that's the goal. That's the primary goal.
So we have five meetings in January, and I know that Joel expressed interest in starting at 6 p.m. on those days.
On the budget nights. On the budget nights. Just on the budget.
Okay.
Maybe.
Good to know.
Do we really want to change it for the public, our regular select board public meeting? But if we're just going to do budget,
if you're fine with just doing it on the budget nights, and we could figure out which those are, that's totally fine with me. I'm also fine with doing it earlier. I mean, it's less confusing, I think, to do it just on the budget nights, perhaps. So Val, what dates would those be?
The 3rd and the 17th.
Okay. So that'll be at 6 p.m. on the 3rd.
It's just 4 meetings. There wouldn't be a need to meet on the 30th.
31st. Okay.
Yeah, the 31st.
You hope.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be, because everything will need to have been adopted before then.
Yes.
Right. Because everything needs to be posted and published by the 30th.
There you go. Okay, so 7 p.m. on the 10th and 7 p.m. on the 24th, and then 6 p.m. on the 3rd and 6 p.m. on the 17th. Okay. And then no meeting on the 31st.
Correct.
Good. I won't turn up.
You get to take a breather.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And I posted online some of the information we've received already that are broader in picture, like the Regional Planning Commission dues change and the Vermont League of Cities and Towns dues change, and one of the requests we're already beginning to receive. I don't intend to share with the select board every request we receive for funding and all those other smaller details, but I think those, the first two, the Regional Planning Commission and VLCT, it's good for the select board to be aware of that.
Yeah, or if there's one that's drastically different, I guess.
Right, or noteworthy, particularly noteworthy. I'll post it like this.
And are the select board liaisons for the departments, are you working with your department on meeting and having a budget meeting before our select board meetings?
I think that's the plan.
Okay. Okay, I'll be meeting with police department and fire department in the coming week or so. And I don't know, we've got Peaker is on for the public works.
Right. And the hope is that he and Eric will be able to meet prior to then and be ready.
Okay. What's Michelle? What are you covering, Michelle?
I'm planning commission, but they apparently have theirs ready to go. And I had no idea they did a bunch of meetings.
Done. Joel, what were you heading up?
I got water, landfill, sewer. Landfill, sewer is more in the general now, or landfill is in the general. I did talk to Jill inside today.
Great.
And they're going to ask Anthony they got reading meters this week, and Sharon will be sending out bills next week. So we'll have at least 6 months of revenue. And
right.
Do you want something for that town report, or is that going to wait for May? That's what they want to know. Yeah.
For the town report, what we've done now is we just publish what the approved budget was from May or June, and don't try to include a projection. And instead, we do the projection in May or June.
But do you want? Jill thought last year you put in what your capital things were.
Well, the capital for sure. There should be something in capital.
Okay.
So yeah, if you can work with Jill and Cyrus on updating the capital plan, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'll let her know.
Yeah, that would be great.
Get a hold of you, Valerie. Sharon's going to send Jill and I what we've spent to date in the water, so we'll have that. Then I'll have Jill get the capital from Sharon for last year and kind of touch it up and go over it with you. Is that what you want?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Great. Okay, thanks, Val. Moving on. Consider adoption of resolution to reappoint Town Administrator Valerie Caples to the Addison County Economic Development Board for 1 year.
Oh.
Did I detect any hesitation?
We have a motion in a second.
Want to volunteer?
Can Val even speak about
I think
this?
4 people moved on that, and 4 people seconded.
So Jolie seconded after he moved.
Okay, great. Discussion on this, Val.
No, I think it's been a beneficial. It's been beneficial for me to participate with the board and the organization's activities.
I agree. Motion in a second.
Get it.
Good. All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
All those against say nay. Ayes have it. Thank you, Val.
Who actually made the motion?
Joel made the motion. Or Michelle.
Michelle made it.
Michelle made it and Joel seconded. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Item 10, consider appointment of 2 Bristol representatives to the new Regional Emergency Management Committee.
You skipped one.
No, yeah, skipped one on the police union.
Oh, I'm sorry. Consider 9. Consider appointment of select board representative to participate in the upcoming New England Police Benevolent Association contract negotiations.
Make a motion, we appoint Ian. You're the department's liaison, so it just doesn't make sense or not. You don't want it, that's fine.
No, I was going to say Peaker because he's not here, but
who's done it previously?
It was Ted Lilas. This will be the second round of this union contract.
What does it involve? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Good question. And Bruce might have some ideas about that too, because the first time around was the first time around. And neither I nor Ted had experience negotiating police union contracts. And we had a town attorney, John Klesch, at the table every single time. And that was a very lengthy and expensive process. I don't know that we need to have legal representation this time around. But maybe we should. I don't know. So, and I would think that the second time around would be much more streamlined, and that there would be areas of focus. But yeah, I'd be interested in Bruce's thoughts. Although Bruce is not allowed to participate because he's not covered under the union document.
So negotiations usually, the 2 sides bring suggestions, recommendations to each other and see if they can come to an agreement. Then after each side, or if you come to an agreement, then you have your attorney review the final contract before you sign it. So no, it won't be as lengthy and as involved as the first one was. You've already got something set in place. Now you just need to determine what the next couple of years look like.
And Bruce, how would you recommend that on the Bristol side, we have that conversation about what should be changed?
That's when you determine who's going to be on your committee, you sit down and you come up with some ideas on what you would like to, from the town's perspective, see for changes.
In your experience, have there been situations where both sides are happy with what's in there and they just shake hands and sign an updated? No, Sharon's shaking her head no.
I've been involved when I was over in New York, and we were able to agree on a contractual change probably half of the time, and the other half of the time we ended up in mediation. So
mediation.
Done. If everybody keeps their expectations reasonable, then we'll come to an agreement and we'll move on.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, what I had said to Chris Hoare was that it would be on tonight's agenda, but that activity probably wouldn't begin until February after we put the budget and town report to bed. And we have until the end of June to button things up, but it'll be here before we know it, hopefully, in some ways, hopefully.
Michelle, given your legal experience, would you be willing to do that?
No. Does that mean I have to keep a level head?
Yeah, maybe it's good practice. I don't know.
Right. I mean, Val, I agree with you. I don't think we need an attorney right away. I mean, it just makes sense to see what we come up with, what both sides come up with before we go and spend that kind of money.
Right, sort of where things go.
Yeah. And Bruce, on your side, you have two officers. Do you know who would be at the table among the two of them?
No, but that would be up to them to decide.
But there would be just one, is that right?
I'm not sure. I think the last time that's all they had, just one.
Do they realize they do have to have somebody at the table?
Oh, yeah, they realize that. They just...
There was no one. It was just me and Ted representing the department, because you weren't able to, and there was nobody else at the time.
For the town, it'll be, I can be part of the town because I'm not in the union.
Oh.
As far as that goes. And on the union side, it would be one of the police officers and their representative from the union.
Interesting. Would you expect or want to be at the table?
I think I have some insight that when we're going through the process, that might be useful, whether I'm there every meeting or not. I would hope that if I'm not, that you would reach out and I can provide some insight.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, I guess I'm okay with this. I mean, it's not my favorite thing to do, but yeah. I mean, I just don't want it to be like the last time where it takes 3 years just to get it done.
No, I think the heavy lifting's been done. So a motion was made, but I don't think it was seconded to nominate.
Also, I can change that and say Michelle Pearly.
All right, we have a motion from Joel. Do we have a second from Michelle?
I can't second it, can I? No. Darla, you better second it.
I can second that. Sorry, Michelle.
All right. Motion and second. Further discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye. All those against,
Michelle said nay.
Yeah, Michelle says nay. Okay. All those okay. Motion carries. Thank you very much, Michelle.
And Michelle, whenever the group meets, I mean, it can meet at your schedule. It doesn't have to be during the day. It can be after hours, whatever.
No, it's fine. I'll work it out.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 10 now. Let's see. Hang on.
Just as before we get to this item, so I was in the office today and I had every intention of laying out all these documents that we're looking at tonight that require signatures, and I didn't. So anyway, none of these documents that we're looking at tonight are available for signing.
Okay.
But there's next Monday, so I'll have it together by then.
Okay. Item 10, consider appointment of 2 Bristol representatives to the new Regional Emergency Management Committee.
Hopefully folks had a chance to review the information from the Regional Planning Commission about this.
Yes.
So they're looking for 2 people from Bristol, one the emergency management director or representative, but that would be me, and then somebody from the emergency services community, ambulance, fire, or some other group.
Peter Coffey on this, Val?
I don't believe so. Although he is the deputy EMD.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Can we reach out to him?
We can.
Peter did inform me, Valerie, because I asked him about the ARPA serving on that committee, and he's going to be away about 3 months this winter. So just keep that in mind.
Right.
I don't think does this require that much time?
Quarterly meetings.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there is Zoom.
I was going to say, yeah.
Okay.
I would say if Peter would be interested in
Peter
willing.
might or Mark might. 2 past.
Peter and Mark.
Past chiefs. Can bring a lot of insight to it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, past firefighters.
Peter Coffey or Mark?
Peter and Mark were 20 years at the helm and second helm. So.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So actually, Peter would be wearing 2 hats: emergency services community as a firefighter. Yeah.
He was at Homeland. He was.
Yeah.
One of the directors at Homeland.
Good idea.
Okay. You'll reach out to both of those, Val?
I will, and we'll have an answer. We can go ahead and appoint me, and then we can come back to it at the next meeting if Peter's available or interested.
So you want a motion to appoint you?
Right.
I'll make a motion to appoint Valerie to the Regional Emergency Management Committee.
Planning Committee.
I'm just reading what it says here.
Oh. Okay. A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Raise your hand.
Aye.
Against, nay. Motion carries.
You might want to make a motion to go ahead and appoint Peter if he's interested and available. That way we don't have to come back to it.
That's what I said. Yep.
Oh, I didn't hear.
Remember? Yeah, I said that too. I think positive I said that. No, I agree. We'll appoint Peter if he'll take it.
Okay.
So Joe makes that motion, and I'll second it.
And yeah.
Okay. Everyone agrees with that?
You get that, Sharon?
Okay.
Got it. Okay.
Is that okay, Val?
Yeah.
Okay. Terrific.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on this? Okay, great. Moving on. Item 11, grant application authorization request, Hub Teen Center to the Fieldstone Foundation. Looks like Taylor's off, but I think she mentioned that previously.
I make a motion that we allow the Hub to apply for the Fieldstone Foundation grant in the amount up to $5,000.
Second.
Great. Motion and a second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Those against, nay. Motion carries. Okay. Item 12, review and approval of July 26th, August 16th, August 23rd, September 13th, November 8th, and November 22nd meeting minutes.
The July 26th, August 16th, and November 22nd meeting minutes were emailed out today.
Did anybody get a chance to look at those? I did not.
I looked at the November 22nd, right, Val? Is that the one I sent back to you?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yeah, and I looked
comments,
at a couple of them. Yep. And
comments on that? How are we liking the new formatting and Sharon's work on that?
Great.
I agree. The detail is terrific. Yeah.
Okay, do you want me to make a motion to approve the November 22nd minutes?
Unless folks want more time.
What's that?
Unless folks want more time.
Well, nobody else has looked at it but me.
No, I did. I sent Val notes.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
had
wanna
no
do
changes, Darla.
let's do that. Let's do that one, and then we'll punt the others to next week.
I'll make a motion to accept the November 22nd meeting minutes with changes that Darla and I made.
Second.
And Darla. Okay.
Darla, you didn't have any changes, right?
No, I did not.
Oh.
Okay.
So, but you looked at it. Okay. Motion a second. Further discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Raise your hand.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Motion carries. All right, so we'll do the one August 16th, 23rd, 13th, September, no, all those others next week.
Yep, you'll have more, I hope.
Okay.
I thought the November 8th ones were approved last time.
I'll double check.
Didn't you say you added something from November 8th, Valerie? So the chat or something like that? Or was that a different one?
Oh, actually, thank you for mentioning that. The August 16th minutes intended to have the chat dialogue added to it, and I overlooked doing that before I sent them out. So, but since that's not on tonight, that's not on tonight's agenda for approval, we can correct that the next time.
Okay. Item 13, approve an amendment to the August 9th select board meeting minutes.
I'm actually gonna check the November 22nd minutes to see if we approved the November 8th minutes.
If so, that's great. We can knock another one off our list.
Yes, they were approved on November 22nd, so we can.
Sharon's on the case. Thank you, Sharon.
Good deal. Glad somebody's paying attention. Not that you guys aren't, of course. I'm talking about me.
So item 13, approve amendment. You mentioned that this was not an item we need to talk about.
Yeah, that was just taking up space. Never mind that one.
We'll skip over that. Item 14. Hang on a second here. Let's do a little bit of this. 29. Authorize accounts payable warrant and any liquor licenses. Sharon obviously has those details.
Yes, I do. The accounts payable is $193,948.20. I left off one of the appropriations, so I added it in today. And we do have a liquor license that is on the table now for, it's the additional 6 months for, I think it's South Mountain. It's
South Mountain Tavern.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when they originally got the number 3rd license, they only did it for 6 months. So now they need to do it for the remaining 6 months.
Okay.
Sharon, I just have a question on the pay orders. Bristol Cemetery, you said in your little thing that you sent to us at the beginning of the week or at the end of the week, last week, that this was the first round of the appropriations you're sending out.
Well, the cemetery, this is their second half payment.
Okay, that's all I asked. That's second half. Okay.
Yeah, we give them the other one in July.
Do the mowing.
Yes.
Right. Okay, moving on. Item 15, select board roundtable. Joel.
I have nothing because you guys answered about the water budget. I'll work with Jill on that.
Terrific. Michelle?
This is under other business that I see. We got, Val, what was ever determined about the landfill? The trash?
About the what?
The unearthed landfill.
I haven't heard any results back. I believe the last communication was that it might take 10 days or more to get the testing results back.
So my question is how come it was unearthed? Why, when it was capped, why are they able to dig down deep enough to get trash?
It's not in the capped area. It's in the area of this plan that's intended to be their stormwater pond. And so this is outside the known limits of the landfill operation. So it was a bit of a surprise to everybody.
Well, that explained that, because I'm thinking, we capped it. Why is there trash coming out? So that
remember where the old brush pile used to be?
Yeah.
So you drive down, as you turn to go towards the brush pile, right there on the right is where they were digging.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay. Well, that's depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only comfort, I suppose, out of this is whatever expenses the town is on the hook for because of this stuff. If the testing and how the material ends up needing to be disposed of, it's likely to be thousands of dollars. But on the flip side, we will be getting rent payments from their operations that will help offset that initial cost.
Did I read somewhere in the agreement, though, and I don't have it in front of me, I apologize, about any damage done by the Acorn or subsidiaries would be paid by them?
Right, but this isn't that. This is part of their approved plan, and it's not on the cap. And I believe the agreement also...
Going, sorry, though.
The agreement also says that any stuff outside of that, the town's responsible for.
Any hazardous material.
Right. Yeah, the area that they were digging is the pond. It was set and staked out, and they hadn't dug it yet, and then they dug it up, and that's what they discovered, unfortunately. So they were doing exactly what they needed to be doing. It just happened to be that stuff had been put there, unfortunately, outside of the capped area.
But I saw the pictures and I talked with Eric, and my led to believe that it's not garbage, but metal. Because I saw a tire in there, I saw a steering wheel column, I saw a piece of steel. So it's more of the steel pile tire area that got over the time, probably got buried. But it's not garbage, so-called garbage. So I was hoping that would... I didn't see any more emails on it, so I didn't really respond. But
yeah. I think the photos so far are all that we know about it.
Okay.
Anything else, Michelle?
No, that's it for me.
Darla.
I just wanted to commend the churches for their live nativity this weekend. That I went to that. It was really well attended, and it was really nicely done. It was your trip through Bethlehem, to down through the park, and it was really great. They did a really nice job, so I wanted to acknowledge them. Also wanted to say, I don't know if Meredith's still on, but the hall looks really nice. They've done a nice job lighting up inside. There's red and green lights. I don't know if anybody's seen that.
Yeah.
And also Taylor from the Hub was able to attend the OK Resilience Project that's been taking place in Addison County for the last couple of years. She's joined that board, and it was great to see her on that. I'm also on that board. So it was nice to have her addition and have that teen voice there. So that's a resilience effort that's been going on since prior to COVID. So it's great to have her there and have that.
What's it called again?
It's called OK, You've Got This. It's a resilience committee that started. It started out of CSAC, but it's a multi-organization, many community partners. So to have the Hub be part of that is really great. Great. That's all I had.
Great. A couple from me. I noticed this is for the elementary school project. It looks like they've almost finished. They have a bunch of work to do in terms of the front entrance, but you can walk along the sidewalk now. I noticed that we were concerned about the asphalt being put back to the road after they cut it up. And I walked up there today, walking the kids, and it looks like half of what they filled looks pretty good. And it looks like the rest of the road. The new half, which is towards the north end, is very different. And I don't, maybe Joel wants to take a look up there at some point if you can. It's much larger pieces of asphalt, looks nothing like the road. I don't know if it's like cold patch or if they're going to replace it, but I think, Joel, you were the one who sort of brought this up, saying making sure that it should be replaced as good as the road, but it definitely doesn't look that way. So I'm just concerned about that, and if that's the final thing.
Eric shaking his head back there.
Yeah, a couple 3 weeks ago, I did call Eric, and they were paving it that day. He went up with his temperature gauge, and it was to temperature 200 and some. I'll let him comment. So
what they put in was what they call a 3/4 inch aggregate mix. Wasn't a top. That's all they could get.
Okay.
Pike's plan broke down, so they ended up having to go to Wickham's to get it, and they were the only ones that were open. So that, as far as I know, what I've been told is that's going to come out in the spring, and they're going to put it back in with the right stuff. So
Okay.
the top is flat like it was before.
Okay. And are you happy with the half that has been done? Does it meet your standards in terms of what it should be?
Yeah, I'll let you know in the spring, but
okay.
As of right now, it looks all right. And if it doesn't by spring, then we should be good.
Okay, and you're keeping tabs on that, right, Eric, to make sure that it's
yeah.
Okay, great, terrific, thank you. And then my second thing was, I'd like the board's opinion and Val's opinion on upgrading our Zoom account, our cloud recording storage. We pay for an amount. I can't remember what it is. It's like 150 a year, and it's 1 gigabyte of storage, which essentially is like one meeting if we record it to the cloud. I would like to make a recommendation that we update it to the 100 gigabyte plan for $40 a month. So that's about $480 a year, which obviously is much higher than what we're paying for the account, but it would allow us to record every meeting. There are meetings that are not being recorded just because Neat wasn't able to record them for whatever reason, just because there are so many meetings now that they're doing, and we're not able to record them. It's like to a local computer, it gets confusing to send files. So I'd like to maybe spend some of the money out of the technology fund just to subscribe and get that plan updated, just so we can set it up so it auto records. So if we have a planning commission meeting, which was missed last week, just because no one recorded it, it'll just when the person chair, whoever starts it, it records, and we know that it's there in the cloud. And I'm happy to work with Neat to get the file out, or even give it to other people too if they need that. But I just wanted the board's thoughts on that.
I would recommend it not come from the technology fund, because this would be an ongoing expense, an ongoing operating budget expense.
Okay.
I'm glad. That's what I was going to say, that we need a budget for it and take it right out of our general budget fund somewhere rather than the technology fund.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, so if we can make that happen soon, then at least we don't have to worry. We can set up the meetings when people start them to automatically record. I think some of the meetings do already, but then the person doesn't have to worry about it, and one of us can check in to the town Zoom account, and all the meetings will be there, and we can send out links and stuff like that.
Well, do they stay up there on the cloud, or do we download them somewhere? I mean,
they stay up there, and you can share them right from there, and people can download.
Well, my concern is eventually we're going to hit that limit.
Right, yeah, that's my thinking. I mean, how many meetings will that actually accommodate? For how long? A month's worth? A year's worth?
Right, and how long do we keep them up there? I mean, we're going to have some kind of archiving system or something or other.
I'm happy to work on that. If it's 100 gigs, it would be probably about 150 meetings. So figure that out in terms of how many months that might be. Most of them, it's just 40 gigs or 100. Wait, what is it now? 100 gigs is the lowest amount. I would actually do less if we could, just because I don't feel we need that much. It's mainly just like it would be a monthly thing. I'm happy to just pop in, take a look, archive meetings or delete. But it's mainly just to sort of catch ones that Neat isn't able to do. And it puts less of the onus on the person running the meeting. They're already having to deal with technology, let alone record it and send the file to somebody else. I wanted to make it just super easy. And this is the only way that Zoom allows you to do that, just by upgrading the storage space.
Well, Peter and I are so tech savvy, we could probably handle that.
Right.
But question.
And that way, then next week, I'm going to come in via Zoom and you set up the computer.
Yeah, right. I'll be sitting here in the dark. Jimmy and I'll sit in the dark. But then let's say, will a Zoom meeting be able to be downloaded to Neat's file so it can be shown on TV?
Yeah. So Neat will essentially have the archive. It's just when we miss it and we're not able to do it, or they're not able to do it, or I'm not able to log on to a meeting and grab it. It just would be there in our cloud. I could then give Mary the file and she could have it, and then they would have the archive of that. And we could also download and save it ourselves too. But I just think it would be useful. I think it automatically records for some meetings, but it's not actually recording because we don't have any space to do that. It's not recording them. So.
Okay.
And it's not a huge amount of money, and I feel that we're going to be continuing to use this platform for the foreseeable future. And you can do it just straight from the Zoom account. You just go in and it's an add-on, and whoever sets it up, Sharon probably knows how to do it, so she could do it pretty easily, I think. Okay, that's all I had. Thank you. Town administrator's report.
I have nothing to add to my written report. With the one exception of, in my TA report under schedule and upcoming things, I was not sure how next week was going to look with the holiday because Christmas is on a Saturday. So Sharon and I chatted about it today, and our interpretation of the personnel policy, which says that employees get Christmas off, the holiday off, plus the 4 hours of Christmas Eve. Well, Christmas Eve is Friday, and in other words, we concluded that that Friday is intended to be the holiday, and Thursday is intended to be the Christmas Eve part of it. So if folks agree with that, then we would give the public notice that the town office would be closing at noon on Thursday and would continue to be closed on Friday.
I was going to say, I think most businesses are doing Friday as Christmas Eve and then giving Monday off as Christmas, but I don't think I have a preference whether it's Thursday, Friday, or Friday, Monday. Do you?
My guess is that might not be as practical for people who are last minute shoppers.
That's true.
Friday. Monday might be helpful to recover, but
that's what Sunday's for.
They're right, exactly. So they might need the shopping time on Friday and the prep time.
Yeah,
that's my only update.
Yeah.
Okay.
And schedule wise, then since I'd be out in the morning anyway for the PT, I guess I'll just be not there that day.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think that's a good way of doing it. Joel?
Okay.
I guess I'll go back to my bank day here. We get out at 1 and we work 4 or 5 hours, and then it says most people do a check, you'll do paid for 40, and then you'll get paid for your holiday. It won't be 48 hours, but it's a holiday you'll be paid for. So here
I'll give you another business perspective. My office gave us the week between Christmas and New Year's off, and it doesn't count against our holiday time. So just to throw that in the mix.
Yeah, well, that's probably not happening because it's very rare that they do that. But so you're asking
just give it another perspective.
I know. You're asking
half
about
a day
pay
on Friday, and then they will get paid their holiday, but it'll be just a holiday.
So I guess you're asking whether they're going to get paid holiday for Saturday too. If they get Thursday, Friday, or so Valerie just clarified. So they're going to get half a day Thursday, Friday as the holiday, and then they don't get paid Saturday, so to speak, for the holiday on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday, your holiday would be your Friday.
Okay.
Day would be your
Okay. I think that's what Joel wanted clarification of.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Got it.
So you'd be doing, if you didn't have any overtime or plowing, you would be straight 40 hours.
Right.
And that's it.
Except for the police department, because they work weekends anyway, so they'll be a little bit different.
Right.
We might be working then too, so.
Yes, you might be.
Seen it before, Larry?
Huh?
Seen it before.
Seen it before, numerous times.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Other business. Correspondence, reports, correspondence received. Anything notable, Val? I saw a few things come in.
Communications from other organizations. There's the report about the landfill trash. The select board received an email about from a citizen concerned about political unrest in the schools and specifically related to flags, I think. I wanted to share with the select board the planning commission's efforts to get to involve UVM interns in their planning processes. We received a letter from the Vermont Retail Grocers Association about the mask mandate. It doesn't really affect Bristol at this point. Landfill project updates. I wanted to share with everybody the article in the Addison Independent, if folks didn't have a chance to see it, about the housing project in Bristol.
Yep.
A lot of good information in that. And then the Addison County Regional Planning Commission newsletter.
Great. Okay. Item 2, the Bristol Fire Department authorization to sell town of Bristol property.
I make a motion, we allow the fire department to sell their own equipment to whoever. I mean, I don't know who he said would buy it, but if it's not them, he can put it out to whoever.
I think it's Moncton. They bought the other
Moncton.
stuff.
Well, yeah, but I don't know that they'll, maybe they won't buy it, but if they aren't going to buy it, then he can, I didn't want to say Moncton.
Yeah.
It is Moncton.
Okay. Okay. We have a,
I'd like
we
to
have a
use
motion.
the word equipment. I'd like to use the word equipment, not property. When you think of property, you think of land.
No, I thought I said equipment, old equipment.
Okay.
He read it as property. So.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Motion. Did we have a second? Sorry.
I'll second it. Michelle made the motion. I'll second it.
Okay. Thanks, Joel. Motion second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Raise your hand.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Motion carries.
We have one personnel matter, don't we, Val?
I don't know that we do actually, because the appointments in the earlier part of the agenda have already been made. So
Email from Brett. Do we need to deal with that about one of the firefighters? Request?
no, that's an approval by the department head and the town administrator.
Cool.
It was an FYI.
Great. Okay. Cool.
Okay. Well, there we go.
Take a motion to adjourn. Is that what you wanted?
I'll second.
All right.
All right. Motion to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Raise your hand.
Bye.
Aye. Motion
Bye,
carries.
everybody. Thank you.
See you next
Good
Monday.
night, everyone.
Next Monday. Yep. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.